to a very special episode of Bite-Sized Media. And it is Thursday in the studio. Obviously, it's Bite-Sized, or whatever day you are listening to us. And today, we are starting a very special segment. Earlier, we did a...
Side by side.
Thank you for just jumping the gun.
Subsidiary.
Earlier we did side by side, and we compared Korra to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
We did that back in
June? No.
April.
That was a while ago.
Was it really that far back?
Yeah, we did it in April.
And so we thought, let's try a new challenge here for Bite Sized. Now we're, instead of like swapping back and forth months, we are going to propose ourselves a challenge. And we are going to watch through all of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's not really much of a challenge.
It's
so
a fantastic series. So none of us are going to not enjoy doing this.
The challenge is going to be, let's not get COVID and have to miss a week.
Yeah.
Was that directed at me?
Wait, Jake, have you had COVID yet?
No, he's the outlier here.
Yeah, wow. Must be nice. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We are going to watch the first episode today, and then from here on out, chugging through all 3 perfectly made seasons.
Books.
The book seasons, whatever, you know.
Books.
My brain always thinks that there's 4.
That's
to be fair, I usually think that there are 4.
It's not because of that. It's because there are 4 elements.
It's because there's 4 elements, yeah.
But Air is the first season of Korra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like air.
Oh, is it?
Air, spirits, balance, something. I could look it up. Someone's probably watching us
Air,
going.
balance, spirits, future?
Visions or something. I don't know.
Vision sounds about right to me.
Visions.
I don't know. But yes, so I'm excited to dive into this once again. I mean, at this point, we've watched this, how many times?
More than I can count.
It's a good show. It's a good first episode. It's
and we're about to watch it again.
I know.
He's really salty about that. Really salty about it.
We have to do a whole.
I know. I understand why.
It's a whole
Let's watch it then.
Well, let's do it. Let's
take a bite.
And we just watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, the very first episode. Is that
The Boy in the Iceberg.
There you go.
Or in parentheses on Paramount Plus, The Avatar Returns Part 1.
Huh. That's an interesting subtitle.
Yeah, because then the next episode is The Avatar Returns Part 2, according to Paramount Plus.
Interesting. Very interesting. I will say, really quick, and I feel like I do this every time I watch this first episode, I always continually forget where it ends. In my brain, it does not.
It's one big episode.
It's just one giant episode. I don't know if I've actually watched
the second episode ever.
Yeah, no, never. I say I don't know if I've ever watched it. I realize that that's what we did the first time because I didn't watch the second one. But usually, like whenever I rewatch it, you just you watch the 2 together.
I think on the DVDs they're even stitched together as one.
That makes sense.
episode.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been so long
because I can't
watch through.
Yeah, the same.
Mm-hmm. And just because when you remember things, it just all comes together. So it's Zuko attacks the camp. In this first episode, and then it's like, no, that's not in this episode. It ends with him looking through the spyglass thing,
which begs the question. I'm very curious. So when I'm curious as to the planning stages of this, and when Nickelodeon aired it, because they aired
those two together.
Sure. Yeah.
I think this premiered in 2005. Oh wow.
February of 2005.
So does that mean it ended in 2009 or 10?
7. 8. Sorry, July 2008.
I didn't think they made a season every year. For some reason, it feels like they took a long time to release this entire show.
Yeah, kid shows are weird when it comes to seasons. Whereas adult seasons, it's just here's a block. It's just here's the whole season every week, outside of any hiatuses they go on. Kid shows just kind of it's like here's a group of episodes, and then 3 months pass. Here's more. It's kind of like Steven Universe did what they call Steven Bombs, where after months of nothing, you'd get 6 new episodes all at once.
Interesting.
So it's not like kid shows all do that, but it's similar to like, oh, an all new Avatar is this week, and then like a month later, oh, there's a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
I
feel like I've noticed that. I don't remember at what point this was, but I was going back and looking at like old Disney shows and old like Nickelodeon shows, and I remember seeing like it's like 30, like there's like 2 seasons, but there's like 40 episodes, and it's just like it's because they just kind of like what you're saying, they just dump them like that. So I wonder if Avatar is maybe started to change, at least more so for kid shows, because like nowadays, like I feel like, and especially nowadays, like everyone's pushing for like 10 to 12 episode seasons. Mm-hmm. And so I wonder if Avatar is maybe one of the first ones that got the shift, at least more so for kid shows.
I mean, there's about 20 episodes in a season.
The first season is 20.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, just look at this. It's so we're right. It was both those first 2 episodes are the same night.
Yep.
Then 4 days later was the 3rd episode. And that was like a week later for the next one. The season ended in December. They ran 11 months for this whole season.
Wow.
And they released, there's a hiatus. So the Blue Spirit episode came out on my birthday, which is in June.
That's pretty cool.
And then the next episode was at the end of September. So it's like they took a couple months off and then did the last. And it's because you start hitting close to the episodes where they're in the North Pole. So it's like those all came out within weeks or months of each other. It makes sense.
I will say one thing. I haven't watched this in a while, in at least a few years. I might have watched it in 2019 and 2020, maybe, whenever it first came on Netflix.
I did the same thing.
Rewatched it again.
I did the rewatch. Yeah, it was COVID. It was 20.
Yeah. So I remember watching this when I was, I guess I would have been a teenage, college-ish type person.
You were what, 19?
Something like that, yeah. But I remember thinking that this first season is interesting because I think the first like half of it is kind of more Nickelodeon-y than the second half. Like so if I remember the season arc, it starts to feel less like a Nickelodeon show, more like the show they wanted to make. But this first couple of episodes seem really goofy to me as like a Nicktoon. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that's how they had to sell it.
I could imagine that's probably like you have to have like you're making this for kids. Like it has to have that like a certain level of goofiness of Nickelodeon-ness.
It has to draw in those child viewers because they need to keep it going. So it's like we have to somehow introduce this in a way that because it starts really serious with the intro. And then when you start the episode, it's like, okay, it's a little more lighthearted now. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because as you go, it's like, okay, you have to prove that this will bring in ratings. So when it's like, and it's not that they didn't have a plan set way out.
I'm sure
that's probably part of their plans. We got to bring them in now to like it because then we can start getting more serious with the art.
And it does have some like silliness throughout. Like
this one just, as you were saying, feels a little more.
It's kind of like
than usual, just because
it's definitely one of those shows that makes you wonder how much of the outline like they actually had, like how much they had. Because again, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I feel like the entire series feels like there's not many episodes that are wasted on nothing. There's a few.
I know everyone jumps out to point out the Great Divide.
There you go.
I know that
the Great Divide, Ember Island players to a lesser extent, I think.
Mm-hmm. That one is called They Were Forced to Do a Clip Show. And they did it in the best possible way. No one likes clip shows. Also, but they did it and they actually did character stuff within it. Mm-hmm.
Also, the first one with Jet. That's one of my most hated episodes.
Guess what the episode's called?
No. Jet.
Yeah. We'll see how we get there. Mm-hmm. You know how it is when we get there because I remember not liking it.
It's like episode 10, isn't it?
You got it.
Nice. Because I would say it's interesting that you point out that you think it's more lighthearted now than it is in the future. I feel like it's like like a Harry Potter kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the first Harry Potter, first two were like really upbeat. I'm saying that damn word. You keep making fun of me.
Charming.
Well, that's more of Harry Potter starts as this like whole new magical thing,
and it's kind of the same thing.
Darker.
Like, it has to take you into this world. Like there's a whole
but Harry Potter
universe.
But Harry Potter is a little bit different because the story originally spanned like I don't know how many years. Like it actually grew with its original fan base. This I don't feel like it did that as much because it did it in a shorter amount of time.
That is true. It absolutely, yeah. And I think that makes at least the introduction to the Avatar world more impressive to me, because like that first episode, like you really it starts off with boom. These are the three, or the four different elements, and yada, like the whole world, and then it gets you get like. Oh, like you learn Sokka and Korra. Jesus.
Whoa.
But like you learn their characters, and like it's just more like I feel like it does a better job balancing the seriousness and the goofiness than Harry Potter.
It's a good introduction to all the characters too.
It's a perfect introduction.
And you see 3 different types of bending.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah, I don't think we see any earthbending until probably episode 5.
The Suki episode.
Now that's the episode before, but I don't remember if there's earthbending. Is there earthbending yet, or is there?
I feel like there is.
Actually, you might be right. Yeah, it's been a long time since I watched
that
show.
it's what's
Kyoshi.
the island? Kyoshi Island. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
there's got to be something. You would think.
You'd think.
But yeah.
All I remember is the live action Avatar or The Last Airbender. How much wasted movement there is in just everything.
Do you think at one point we should?
No.
He's never seen it, I don't think.
What?
Right? You've never seen it?
I refuse.
You have to. It's so bad.
Not to sound too cliche, but it will end up on your hated list because you love this so much.
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. Like you at one point, buddy, you gotta. It's
the one time that Shyamalan has actually tricked me because the trailers made it look interesting, and then it was a big trick.
That's the real twist. The real twist is pulling off a really bad movie.
Oh, he does that twist every time.
Yeah.
That's not fair. Signs is okay.
No, he makes
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense is Unbreakable.
I like Unbreakable.
I like Unbreakable too. And you like Split, don't you?
Oh, Split was
Split's
entertaining.
decent,
Yeah.
But not Glass.
I never saw Glass.
No,
That's
not
the one I
Glass.
didn't see. Anyway, this isn't Shyamalan Hour. This is Avatar Hour. Anything else about the very first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I always have been fascinated by the animals in the Avatar universe.
It's
Like the platypus bear.
It's just so like, I know Jared doesn't like this word, but cute. Like I like that they're like, it's cute and creative.
What do they call the penguins? They're not.
They're just penguins.
He just called them penguins.
But they
That's
have
weird.
But they have additional
right? Like,
limbs or flippers.
They're like
or
otter
whatever.
penguins
But, like-
or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what they look like.
They do look like otter. Like could you like you know how like opossum is like the actual term for it? Like penguin, like otter penguin. Like that would be cute.
Well, notice they didn't have beaks. They did have like kind of like an otter
they
head.
had an
You're
otter head.
right. How are they? Come on.
They must not have realized that they were going to do that yet.
Maybe that's what it is. Because you're right. Because like, and every other animal is like a combination.
Yeah, like a platypus bear
Yeah.
or Appa, I guess, is the exception to that. But like,
But Appa is the only exception.
that's true.
You are the only exception. I love Appa. Okay. Well, on that note, if there's nothing else you guys want to mention about this episode, Jared, where can the people find us online between our shows, promoting our fun and awesome stuff?
Gotcha. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, our funny TikTok, Twitter, if it still exists. And then, of course, you can listen to us on Apple, Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. And hey, watch us here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, ring our bell, comment, rate us on those apps. And hey, we have a nice, cool little website that Dickey made.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Which I will advertise once again. Do not abuse this, but you can, in fact, message us anonymously through our website. So you can do it. Just
you
don't
can handle
abuse the power. Anyway, thank you for listening to today's episode here at Off Slate Media. Make sure to stay tuned for more awesome content coming your way very soon. So on every Thursday or whenever you like to listen to these episodes, don't forget to
take a bite.